This is a custom setup analysis for the BMW M6 at Kyalami circuit under these racing conditions. Let's get scrapping. Welcome back to the 27. I hate making contact when I'm racing. I absolutely hate it, even against AI. In this race, I think I made contact 5 or 6 times. But sometimes you just gotta battle and say, this is my track, baby. Own the space. After the 1135 update, the AI is scrapping more than ever before, and they're not afraid to get in there. 4 wide at the first corner at Kyalami. Jesus. But if you have the AI difficulty just right, there's a nice sweet spot pace-wise. And if you find it, you'll see the AI will push you and make you feel uncomfortable sometimes. That's racing. If you like a nice methodical gentleman's race, that's fine. But if you want to get that heart rate up, get the tension in those arms, AMS2 is certainly capable. So we're going to be going over the BMW M6, the changes I made to squeeze out some lap time, looking at some telemetry as well. The M6, despite being one of the coolest, most badass cars in the game, it is not an easy car to drive or tune for finding the limits. I find it very finicky. The default package is okay. I find it very comfortable, and you will too. If you're looking for a steady, more planted, predictable build, it will work just fine for you. The default builds are better than they've ever been before, across the board. But some sim racing games nowadays have stable packages and then a loose or aggressive package. If you want a more aggressive, faster package, here it is. If the defaults are just fine with you, go ahead and just take the camber and pressure from the setup and just plug it on in. So there's something here for everybody. So let's talk about how to create an aggressive package. It's just a couple of clicks away, and we do it by manipulating the softness and stiffness of each of the 4 corners of the car. There's a line out there that you'll see floating around on forums that softer suspensions equal more grip, period. Continuing that logic, if you stiffen the car, you lose grip and then somehow you're slower. And yeah, you can get more overall grip with a softer suspension sometimes. So why don't we just throw on some slinkies as springs and unhook the sway bars and have grip for days? Because it doesn't work like that. Race cars are stiff because the weight transfer that comes with softer suspensions can be sluggish and create instability because of excessive body roll. We stiffen the package to create reactiveness or responsiveness to wheel inputs and allow you, the driver, to get the car pointed in the right direction quickly, find the edge of grip quickly, and to get on the power sooner and to control the wheel slip angle. That's where speed comes from. On the other hand, if you go too stiff, you'll lose reactiveness on the front end and be overreactive on the rear end. So the most important thing is to find balance. Try softening up your favorite car and go through a tight chicane. Then stiffen it up and try again. You'll see the difference. You want to set up the car to turn in nicely on entry without too much or too little front end bite. You'll want the car to respond to wheel input in the opposite direction without getting happy in the rear end. Get the thing pointed and then go. Driver preference is a big part of this as well. With a stiffer package, wheel inputs need to be more precise. With the softer package, anticipation and reaction are the skills. Wherever you fall on this spectrum is, well, up to you. With GT cars like the M6, it's paramount to find that balance for responsiveness, stability, and driver preference. And to complicate things even further, GT3s, especially M6, have some aero components to be aware of, but let's calm down, Steel, okay? All right, deep breath. I'll show you this telemetry in a second. With the M6, I found the soft default package was problematic because the car would bite really hard on corner entry. Then the rear would start rolling. You need a brief second to get the car back into shape. And then on the power, where it was actually quite comfortable again. But I found I was losing the most time waiting for that split second for the car to be planted mid-corner. So we stiffened the spring package for a more predictable entry. We balanced the ARB so the car wouldn't under or over rotate. We changed the aero package slightly. The M6 does not have a front splitter, so we had to add more rake to get air over the nose of the car, and then we added a click of rear wing for Kyalami. As far as other things, we changed the differential quite a bit. We found the M6 craved stability, so we locked up the coast and the power ramp. Finally, we changed the damping package pretty much wholesale. But let's take a look at the telemetry and I'll show you what's happening and compare the soft default to the stiffer package. So here we are back at the RST. So when I was talking about the softness package versus the stiffness package, we're going to look at the stability tab under the handling tab here. Take a look at the bottom graph, and you can see when we click from the default at the top up here to the custom, there's a lot less travel activity with all four corners of the car. You can see it go up with the default and then down. What this creates, this extra travel creates a instability in certain spots, and I'll show you that next. If you look at the top graph, you can see that the car generally stays around 10 degrees yaw, whereas with the softer package you can see it's creeping up to the 15s more frequently. That's going to change how you apply the throttle. Moving into the aero package, which I thought was interesting, for Kyalami, going back to the defaults, you can see that we marginally increase the aero on both the front and the rear. That extra rake and the extra rear wing really helped. Another interesting thing about the M6 was the power curve. The rev indicator isn't really that great. I think it's something that you're going to have to play around with. I think the shift point should be around 6,400. I don't think the dashboard indicates the RPMs in numbers, so you're just going to have to ballpark it, but you certainly don't want to go to the end, to the red line, and I think that's something that I'm going to have to work with. So you're going to start probably around 5,000 RPMs and then end around 6,300. That's the goal there. Suspension wise, interesting thing here is the pitch. I remember, if you have a softer suspension, the car pitches when you're braking and then pitches backwards when you're under acceleration. And then you can see here that with the default build, there's a lot more pitch on corner entry. That means the car is going to bite a lot when you hit that braking zone and start turning in. Finally, let's look at the traction circle. Where is that? I love the traction circle. Okay, so great. This is the default. Click it there, and you can see we're generally trying to get the data points to be as concentrated as possible. And then with the custom package, you can see I was able to push the limits of the traction circle more and also concentrate the data points. I gained about 1.5 seconds just by making the car more responsive, a little bit more reactive, and a little bit more comfortable on acceleration. So that's the BMW M6 at Kyalami, 44°C track temperature, so watch those tires. I hope you enjoy the build. It's available for download on the leaderboards. Coming up, we'll have a custom default build for the Formula Trainer Advanced, which I believe is something like a Formula Ford. Then it's Porsche Week, a GT1 build for Jerez Chicane, great track, and then a Porsche Cup 3.8 build as well. The livery was provided by Big Rig NZ, and he nailed it. It's bad as hell, and I'm actually going to frame a picture of it and put it on my wall. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and take care.